Welcome and thank you for joining, everyone. My name is Hershey, and I am a lead product manager at DiGGrowth. When I'm not busy doing a lot of the product management stuff, something that really interests me is like keeping up with marketing trends and just seeing what's happening with latest technology. And through this platform, I think it's a great space to just bring people together and share knowledge. So, without further ado, the first guest that I have with us today is Bora. Bora has had an impressive career spanning over 3 decades, encompassing diverse roles in sales, sales leadership, revenue operations, manufacturing management, sales performance, and change management consulting. He has worked with companies in the manufacturing, telecom, healthcare, logistics, as well as the technology sectors. I know for sure that he's highly passionate and is result-oriented, who is largely motivated by driving growth and achieving strategic goals. So welcome, Bora. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Hershey. Glad to be on the program.
Yeah. So today we also have an in-house expert, that is Arpit, with over 16 years of experience across data analytics, marketing, digital business transformation. Arpit's approach to marketing analytics is grounded in his belief that data should be used to inform decision-making, and he has a keen focus on data quality and AI use cases for marketing. He works closely with cross-functional teams, and that includes marketing, product, analytics, and he makes sure that he drives business growth and works a lot closely in improving customer experience. So thank you so much for joining us today, Arpit.
Yeah, always pleasure to be here, Ashi.
So as you guys might notice, we have an expert in sales and someone who's very experienced in marketing. And in this situation, I have to dive deeper and ask about how does it really work to align marketing with sales? Like whenever I'm busy at work, I think the biggest question comes up, oh, it was all sales, like they messed up on this, or it was, oh, I didn't get enough leads, so I can't really get the sales portion done. So now that we have these two experts, I would love for you guys to, share your thoughts. Maybe Bora, you can start us off and tell us about some common pitfalls that really cause this misalignment between the two.
Now, I am so glad that you asked me that question, Hershey, because this is something that I have dealt with my entire career. I mean, especially at the end of an unsuccessful quarter, the blame game that pops up. I mean, leadership will circle around immediately. They'll go to the revenue teams, to the sales team, and they'll say, dude, what happened? We missed our number. Now, sales will generally say something like, what do you mean what's going on? We're working hard out here. We're busting our butts. The leads are weak. So immediately leadership will circle around and they go to marketing, right, Arpit? And they say, hey, marketing, sales says the leads are weak. Marketing, being so data-driven, says, no, they're not. Let me show you the numbers. And of course, they've got the prettiest PowerPoint slides out there. They fire it up and they say, let me show you exactly what we've done. We've done this year to date. 26,972 unique emails went out. That generated 17,564 independent clicks. Average time on the website was this. No, the leads are good. The sales team is lazy. So there's this major blame game that's going kind of back and forth. And I'm going to kick it over to Arpit because I can talk about this for a long time. But Arpit, I mean, you've obviously experienced stuff like this before as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like this is like has been the part and parcel of the sales and marketing motion. Every time I join a new organization or existing organization, this is one of the topics that keep on coming, never gets resolved. But I think time has come up, and we need to really come up with some kind of frameworks, some kind of business rules that can help us really align whatever is misaligned.
Yeah.
And I think the way we can really do is by bringing in some kind of changes in the organizational structure, changes in how we report the things, and the changes how we run some of these sales and marketing meetings in terms of what are we planning for next quarter, things like that. And then it can start with the team itself. And the way I think is that you got to have one leader who is more like end-to-end responsible for revenue generation, and he pretty much covers sales, marketing, and also customer success.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's no more about just the funnel. The funnel has become an hourglass right now, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a full view of not only the lead stages, not only the opportunity stages, but beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has to really own the recurring revenue and renewals, because what happens is that we are so much attached to what we own as a marketer or as a salesperson or as a customer success person, but that siloed thinking really doesn't cut across in giving a perfect customer experience. At the end of the day, customer is the same,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to think from that perspective and sort of reverse engineer some frameworks, some ideas, and sort of restructure even the organization in a bit, even the compensation part of it, how we incentivize things of that nature.
Yeah, no, I agree
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's the thing is you mentioned the silos. I mean, those silos are exactly why I talked about what I talked about is everyone's KPIs are different. They're not
yeah,
unified, not necessarily looking in the right direction. And, marketing's doing their thing, and marketing is really good at stimulating interest and creating curiosity. They do it through emails, through social media, through blog posts, through a lot of different channels. When the
yeah,
customer responds to that messaging marketing's doing, it usually drives them to a website. And this is getting even more complicated with the advent and application of AI. And
yeah,
I'm glad that you're an AI expert because AI is doing a lot to feed opportunities into the sales funnel.
yeah,
People are writing emails with AI. There's a lot happening. It's getting into the funnel. Customers are coming to the website, and then the chatbot is taking over, which is really, really cool as long as the chatbot, the AI-driven chatbot, can answer the customer's questions. Because the
right,
moment it cannot respond, the next move sets the tone for the satisfaction level of the customer. I mean, if the AI chatbot says, sorry, man, I can't help you, someone will get back to you pretty soon. That's the kiss of death. The prospect says, what do you mean? I've just spent 10 minutes with you and someone's going to call me back? Yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to your competition. So
yeah,
that time stretch, and that's part of the issue I see is marketing gets the leads from their marketing outreach and they basically flip it over to sales. And
yeah,
the scary thing is sometimes it's not immediate. It
yeah,
takes a few days to get those lists together. And then it takes the sales team a day or two just to get their arms around the list and figure their strategy. So the customer was on the website, responded to that marketing, and then the sales team does not reach back out to them for a week or more. I mean, I've got to quote one of the great thinkers of our day, Mr. Ricky Bobby from the movie Talladega Nights, the movie with Will Ferrell. He said that. He'd say, you're either first or you're last.
yeah,
The realities of sales today, if you're not first to that prospect, there is a high probability you're not even in the race, let alone competing.
yeah. That's a great point, Bora. And I really think that over there's a bit of work and alignment again required in terms of like defining certain things in terms of whether the lead is good and sales ready, and what are
Mm-hmm.
those parameters. I think traditionally what we've been doing, we are giving it more like a rule-based approach.
Okay.
Marketing team sits and they decide let's do some kind of lead scoring before we hand it over to our sales counterparts.
Mhm.
And the sales doesn't really understand how they're scoring, what they're scoring.
Mhm.
And then generally speaking, those are like in two areas they score. One is the ICP fit, which
Mhm.
is it your ideal customer profile? You sort of define like titles and industries that you want to go after. So those attributes are important. And then second is here the interest. So interest rate is more about your digital body language while you are on the website. So they will keep on tracking certain behavior, how long you stayed at the website, did you actually saw a pricing page, for example, or you actually went to a careers page rather. So
Yeah.
all that will get scored. And it is a little tricky because again, you're trying to create a recipe that probably sales is not aware or not very much aligned. And their
Yeah.
definitions, their lingo, their terminologies are quite different than what marketing team generally will always push while those debates happen. So
Yeah.
what is really required is that have a common definition. And I think what I would really recommend is we sort of go with the account based approach. And
Mhm.
then obviously we can leverage some of the machine learning and AI as well. And what we can really do, we come up with a hybrid approach of obviously baking in some of the business context, your understanding of business, but also relying on data driven models that can help you really define the quality of leads in the
Mhm.
first place as they arrive.
Mhm.
So the way it really works out in the data side of the word is that you go back and see what got closed last year,
Mhm.
and now you know these are the high quality leads that
Mhm.
closed last year. What were their attributes? And then
Mhm.
as the new come leads, you predict whether it's good or bad.
Mhm.
And now it's a lot more data driven. It's not biased. It's not the opinion of marketing how they are scoring, rather than it is your own business that's reflecting there. And
Mhm.
then you sort of align that says, look, out of these 100 leads, these are the 25 grade A leads, which are very similar to what you closed last year. And it's a
Mhm.
better conversation. It's unbiased. And I think sales team will appreciate. Happy to hear your thoughts
Yeah,
if
no,
you.
I think the sales team absolutely appreciates that effort. The problem goes back to what I was saying earlier, that time. Scoring a lead takes time.
Yeah,
Every day that, I mean, a CEO I worked for would always say, time kills deals.
yes.
And every day that goes by, that customer, that prospect moves back out of the funnel, especially if they talk to our competition and maybe they get the inside track, then they're gone. So, I mean, what specific metrics do you guys look at for this, Arpit?
Yeah, so the way we generally look is we have a full funnel view
Mhm.
beyond the actual close one as well, which means that you start off with all the lead stages and understand the conversion rates as the lead sort of transition into different stages, like from MQL to SQL
Mhm.
to whatever sales accepted leads, whatever we have defined. And
Mhm.
then you don't stop here, you sort of extend it with all the opportunity stages that sales team own. You understand how that's transitioning, where is the lag in terms of number of days a particular lead stage or opportunity stage they are setting into. And then from there you can have more informed decision. Let's say you starting off new quarter, you planning things. If I can show you one funnel that has all those stages put together, showing you the current state of the revenue and the potential from all the leads at the given stage. So one thing that I really advocate is the economic value. See,
Mhm.
leads that marketing's our team is particularly driving doesn't have a revenue number attached to it. But can we have a economic value, which means my leads that are grade A generally close at 40%. So
Mhm.
let's say you've got 100 grade A leads, 40 of them will close, and you know what's the average deal size. So you can do the math and tell me what is that one grade A lead economic value equalizes. And that's really help you really define the value that marketing team is driving and what's on the table, lot more predictable in the sense.
Mhm.
If you sort of clutter everything together, not really segment it between good and bad, A and B and C, it's very difficult to do any kind of forecasting. So
Yeah.
what I really recommend is that you have like a full funnel view, which sort of gives both lead and marketing stages at one place. You understand the economic value, you understand where you sit, and then you sort of plan like how much more we would need, what campaigns we need to drive, what about the existing pipeline that is sitting for last 3 months, can we run some campaign around that. So
Mhm.
that's how the whole alignment will work, and then all the team will support each other.
Yeah. Now, I love the strategic perspective you brought there, Arpit. Just to get a little tactical, you said MQL to SQL. Critical point is marketing has a lead, it gets passed over to sales. Sales, to be able to qualify it, has to have a conversation with them. There has to be some engagement. That's where a lot of problems are happening, is how do we engage with that qualified MQL quickly? I mean, they come to the website. You said, yeah, they go to the pricing page, they look at the solutions page. Perhaps they download some gated content, give me all of your information. I'll send you this case study. Sales looks at this, and marketing does as well, as a high intent prospect. And that's part of the thing, is they're on the website. What options do we give that high intent prospect to talk to us? I mean, there is the schedule a demo link. Great thing. I love them if the prospect shows up. But,
Yeah.
20 to 30% no-show rate is normal. I tell that to prospects. I've talked to a lot of sales executives, and they'll say, wow, if you're getting a 20 to 30% no-show rate, you're doing pretty good. Ours is 50 to 60%.
Yeah.
Another option is the contact me form. Company says, give me all of your information and I may respond to you in 3 to 30 days. I mean, there's a lot of noise on social media about salespeople not following up with these prospects that are interested. And then the chat bot. With AI, it takes it further, but it only goes so far. So connecting those people to the sales team is critical. And that is what 11 Site is committed to, is connecting prospects with salespeople through an AI-inspired and driven sales enablement platform.
Yeah, that's great. And I think like some of that conversation that you just made, it's a good conversation to have with your marketing counterparts. Look,
Critical.
I've been trying this demos, I've been trying this get in touch leads, but here is the feedback: 50% of the people are not showing up. Let's come up with some different approach altogether. Can we really promote offers like a free proof of concept? Can we do like a 30-minute consultation about their customer, or some of the strategy that the end customer will care? And we start and make that offer a lot more outside in versus inside out. We always want that customer and prospect do the things that we want rather than what's in it for them. So
Exactly.
I think those conversations can really help you creatively think that besides get in touch, demo, and pricing forms that they fill, which are great, very high intent, what else we can do? And I'm sure that we can figure out depending on the kind of industry and kind of customers we are after that.
Yeah.
And I guess, Arpit, you mentioned about lead scoring being such an important aspect. And Bora, I think your concern was like, but it takes time. So maybe, Arpit, you can shed light on how, like, maybe with AI capabilities increasing day by day and like technology advancing, do you think this time from like qualifying your leads, getting the score on your leads to getting them to sales, can this be made quicker, or do you anticipate it being a slower process even in the near future?
Yeah, I think the slower process which Bora is emphasizing is more about setting up that foundation. So let's say you onboard a new marketing automation platform or along with a marketing analytics platform like DiGGrowth. Obviously, there is some level of implementation and instrumentation required, in the sense that you got to have like a clean data set and there's certain fields and all that plumbing is required. But once you've done that prerequisite, then it is all about like fully automated workflows, which really mean that let's say that between the sales and marketing, there's a cadence that has been said that whenever we give you a grade A leads, you have to call within 2 hours, and then grade A leads actually is worth this dollar value. I
Mhm.
think then that can make an impact. And the once you set that foundation, I think that I think there's no delay as such. We have an automated workflow process that can quickly sort of assign this as a task or whatever is the preferred way of communication. It could be a Slack alert that we got a grade A leads, go and call them. So that
Mhm.
lead attack time that Bora is emphasizing, I think is critical. It's critical. And then the problem is that if you start sharing grade C leads, obviously sales team will not really care, because they know that if they rather than they call one lead through their LinkedIn outreach, that would be better than calling 10 grade C leads and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Now, I agree with you absolutely. And that time, I mean, it's all about speed to lead at 11 Site. I
Yeah.
mean, we are about connecting prospects with salespeople. And the way we do that, when a customer comes to a website, we took that digital communication channel down to a URL that our clients place on any of their marketing channels, online or offline. So they put it on the high traffic areas of their website in the pricing page, etc. They can put it on, social media posts, in blog posts. I'm sure we'll put one of our 11 Site links onto this webinar as well when it's broadcast. So people can call me if they're interested in just-in-time communications with their prospects. Prospect, when they come to the website, basically a big button shows up that says, call us now. They click on that button. We route the video audio call to the right salesperson, wherever they are. We've got a bunch of different routing options. The key is for the sales team to connect with that prospect before anyone else has a chance to. And because the customer is pushing that button, it shows that they're qualified. It shows the intent that they have.
Definitely. And I love that, we dived so deeper into understanding, how do we navigate through these troubled waters, right? And then you guys shared some solutions also, like the product that can really help in making these changes. But I want to really understand, how do you think misalignment really, impacts return on investment? And how can we really map the route to success in the future now?
Yeah, Arpit, I'll start. I'm going to take what you told me. It's all about moving from level to level into the pipeline, the deeper it goes. Anytime there is misalignment between sales and marketing, it will slow down that moving of the levels. That is a killer to sales. Time, again, kills deals.
Yeah. And then just to add on that, like I mentioned in the beginning, beyond like sales and marketing, I think if you just include the customer success as well, because they are actually responsible for renewals, and that's the actual revenue. In fact, it can cost you 4 to 5 times more in terms of acquiring new customers versus retaining. So keep that in mind, and all that good renewals that and multi-year deals that sort of give you a lot of prediction in terms of your organization health and things of that nature. I really think that what we really need is a common leadership. That is one, and then what we can really do is in terms of the the target metrics or the target that we set for each of the teams, it should overlap in the sense that marketing team is no more just responsible for leads or
Mhm.
even pipeline. Some of
Mhm.
their incentives are actually tied to revenue as well. And
Interesting.
maybe for sales, it is not just about NBB. The deals that they are bringing in, are they getting renewed? Because one
Yeah.
of the things that sales teams are generally being pointed out that they just sell it. They
Yeah.
don't even think that whether it exists or not.
Yeah.
And that's a bad customer experience, right? Obviously, people will churn. You might see a quarter revenue, but they won't really renew
Yeah.
as such. So I think that sort of really creates a negative impact when it comes to ROI, to your original question. So what we really need is ability to incentivize across all these three departments such that they care for other departments. So that really
Mhm.
enforces you to work with
Mhm.
sales, with marketing, with customer success, and
Mhm.
understand what is their responsibility and how we can help so that our incentive doesn't really miss out.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I love that. I love that because what's happening today in the siloized world is people throw it over the fence.
yeah,
Marketing throws it over the fence to sales. Sales catch it, they close it, and then what do? They throw it over the fence to customer success and like, okay, you got it. They're done. They move on to the next thing. So yeah,
yeah.
those silos and breaking those down. I love your idea of common KPIs that they share. But that's a tough one, Arpit, because sales is going to say, "How come I'm being held responsible for what marketing and customer success is doing? I'm selling, I'm closing deals, right?" And
Yeah,
marketing may think something similar, and success may think something similar.
that exactly is right, and that's why I added like the first point that the leadership is common.
Mhm.
So if you're not getting renewals, I am getting blamed for it. So right now, I am part of startup. I am basically playing that role. If
Yeah.
sales is failing, I am failing. If marketing is failing, I am failing. If product is not delivering the value it claimed, I am failing. So
Mhm.
that is a common thread that needs to happen. And then CMOs and head of sales need to pivot to CRO roles, and
Mhm.
that's happening. I believe in the industry, and that's I think a common theme that I'm seeing. It's working across organizations.
Yeah, I mean, in bigger organizations, that is what's changing. But in smaller startups, Arpit, we all do everything. You know
Yes,
this.
yes, yes,
I mean, every executive in every startup has basically 5 to 10 jobs they're doing.
yes, yes.
But, the good Lord only gave us 24 hours in the day. We still have to deliver those 6, 7 jobs in the time we have. It's tough.
Yeah, it's
Larger organizations are even more difficult to manage that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I was just seeing one meme like a cartoon where CEO was sitting in the middle, and the sales team was seeing in that direction, marketing team was seeing in that direction, and they were not talking. And the
Yeah.
CEO was really pleading that let's talk and figure out how we really define the qualified leads,
Yeah.
right? So you obviously CEO cannot do that job, so somebody has to pivot and take it to the next level. It could be your chief marketing officer that becomes a chief revenue officer, or the chief, like the sales, a VP of sales, who becomes a chief revenue officer, understands the marketing nuances, understand the importance of sales quotas, and also understands the customer success and renewals. All those things put together will really create that alignment that is missing right now.
Yeah, and I think that's why in the last probably 5 to 10 years, we've seen a lot of revenue operations roles pop up
Yeah, yeah,
because that rev ops role is kind of the middleman to that whole siloized play because
yeah,
they have to look at the technology the sales team's using, what the marketing team's doing, how those leads are handing. So it's actually made things a little tighter on the
yes,
ground and made it possible for
yeah,
a true CRO role to be over encompassing to this.
yeah. That makes sense.
I really love how you guys, like, even we started off with mentioning a lot of these technologies that can be answered for, like, resolving this. But it really still comes down to the right people. And, like, hiring the right kind of people makes a huge impact. And also how they're structured in the organization. So defining these processes and having these in place makes such a huge difference. Have you
Mhm.
guys had like any examples of experiences within, like, your experience so far, where like, despite technology being good, it's really comes down to the people that makes more of a difference?
I mean, Hershey, our goal is to sell, and people buy from people. That is the reality. It's not a huge corporation buying from another corporation, it's people buying from people.
Yeah.
So being able to have that connection is the critical part, to have a relationship with that person. Whatever that relationship looks like, it's critical.
Yeah.
I mean, that if you don't have that contact, that relationship, the customer has a hard time trusting the salesperson. And trust is critical to this. Critical. If they don't trust the salesperson, why would they buy from them?
Yeah, definitely. Like the trust, like from the customer point of view, and likewise internally the trust across these three teams: sales, marketing, and customer success. We talked about like a lot of those technologies, right? The failure of technologies generally is more political and less about tech. So
Uh,
let's say today I give you an advanced media mix modeling that is telling me that go invest this particular channel, and the person who's responsible to run those campaigns doesn't really trust me, doesn't really trust the data. I mean, it's a waste of time. Nobody's using that data, that insights. So while we hire, I think there should be some kind of checks and balances that we have to consider, like in terms of people attitude towards the data and the technology, and they really care about it. And then some kind of I think some kind of assessment in terms of how they will have a synergy with the rest of the team. So
mhm.
that is critical, and I think needs to be embedded in the culture of the company.
Yeah. I also know within DiGGrowth, we often talk about this, Arpit, like a lot of these technologies really fail at implementation stage because the organization that they're trying to get into, they're not able to adapt. The people aren't able to adapt. So we always keep saying it takes a village to really, get a technology implemented. And that's why that stage with any technology transformation or movement is so important, because if you don't have those people, right people going in and explaining and really balancing, evening the field for them, it's going to be really hard for people to adopt to the newer technology and really get the benefit out of it.
Mhm.
Definitely. Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
when I did change management consulting, this was the whole point of what we were doing. I did this around Y2K. You probably don't remember back then, but there was you remember this, Arpit, I can tell by
Yeah,
this. Companies would go out and they need to be Y2K compliant, right? They needed new software, they needed to upgrade everything. And we would get called in by companies that were putting in a new ERP system. And basically, we were brought in to get buy-in and commitment from all of their employees on a technology decision they already made. So we ended up going in and interviewing 150 different people in this business. And it was all about asking, well, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And getting their opinions. And that lowers the barrier to implementing. Because as you said, Hershey, everybody has a role when you buy technology, when you put it in. If everyone is doing their job in the technology, one is not, it's going to fail. I mean, the concept of shelfware. How many times do companies buy software and they never implement? They spend the money, put it up on a shelf, and it just lives there until it's gone.
yeah, exactly. And then that's why I think one thing that when we are onboarding like different technologies, be it AdTech, MarTech, or RevOps, I think one thing we should always consider is who is going to implement it, how many people are required, and then what's the time we need from the end customers while we're implementing it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, to your point, it just keep on sitting there, nobody uses it, and then it's a waste of time, money, and resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Agreed. Agreed.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I think today's discussion was truly insightful. I know we started off with, just talking about the misalignment and the frustrations that may really, come up between the two teams. But then I think the solutions that you guys offered, including the products that you guys are working on, being one of them, and then also in general, communication being such a huge thing that, breaks all of these barriers. And I think the biggest takeaway for me was even though teams function in a siloed manner. This can happen at startups. This can happen probably much more in bigger organizations. It's really important to have at least, if not an entire team, at least one person or at least one leader that's looking at the entire chain and is not just focusing on what results and what goals did one team meet. So I think having you two today as experts here and really diving into your experience made a huge difference. And I love that we were able to offer solutions to those that are listening to this, platform today. So thank you so much again. Any last thoughts that you guys want to share today?
Yeah, it's all about, like I've been saying, speed to lead. How do you connect with your prospects when they're ready for you to connect? Because once they move on, they often forget why they were even there. So if, the listeners out there have an issue around this, I'm there for you. I will help connect your customers to your sales team first before anyone else. And of course, we feed all of the context of any dialogues through AI, through the marketing channel into the call itself. So we're not just throwing a video call at a salesperson, we're getting them ready for that video call.
Yeah, and then get rid of any kind of competition, and rather than make it be complementary to all the departments in terms of really helping out achieving the shared goal of recurring revenues and renewals, and then the whole idea of giving the best customer experience.
So that was wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure the listeners did too today. And I hope people keep coming back, and I get to do many more of these sessions. So it would be a pleasure to have you back again, Bora, and also Arpit. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you very much.